Hi everybody and welcome to Viewing Gods, the show where myself and Nicholas break down American gods each and every week from the perspective of myself, the person who hasn't read the books, and Nick, the person who has, well, I said books, it's a book. Maybe he'll do a sequel eventually. And the person who has read the book. Imagine if there'll be a sequel. That's interesting. Maybe this is all leading.
There is a kind of a sequel.
Is there? What's it called?
Yeah, Anansi Boys.
Oh, that makes sense.
It's not a direct sequel, but it involves the same similar characters.
Alright, so they could... I didn't actually know that was a thing. So, they could actually be dragging from that for this then, surely, if
Possibly.
they wanted to. Huh, there you go. I was like, just making a joke, but whatever. This week's episode was called Head Full of Snow, which makes sense when you get towards the end of the episode and there's snow, I guess. But it should be called Giving Head. 10 out of 10 joke. Alright, so we'll start from the start of the episode as we usually do, and we'll go through and talk about what happens. So starting with the first scene, which is the coming to America scene, which I don't really get because it's not like... So death comes for this lady, right? Clarifying everything.
Yes.
Death. But usually these scenes are about people coming to America who haven't already been in America.
It's not
seems like he's already there.
It's not a coming to America. There's two. There's a coming to America and there's also somewhere in America. So coming to America, yeah, this is happening.
Somewhere.
What they're doing in America, yeah.
That makes more sense. So I don't understand what this scene's context to anything was. Does it have any context? Like, is it important later?
It's not in the book, but I think they're trying to set up the concept that if you believed in them once before, then they'll still be around for you. Because, like as she said, this is a Muslim household, why is Anubis coming for me? And he goes, your grandmother believed and you believed when you were a young child.
Why does Anubis hold out his hand for me?
It is my thanks. You were once a girl with your own teacher who taught you the ways of Egypt old.
It gets really weird fast. I'm like, you understand, you're like, okay, he's death, he knocks on the door, this is, it's fine. Yeah. And then they walk up the biggest fucking steps ever and I want to know what... So they go up, they're in wherever. I can't even remember what that place...
Queens.
Yeah, but the actual, is there a name for, where they end up? Like, the desert place? Like, the landscape?
Oh, I think it's like where they judge the lives in Egyptian mythology.
Yeah. So he sits... I want to know what happens if she hadn't weighed out. Because he pulls out her heart, lays it on... the feather, the scales, weighs it all out. What happens if she hadn't have weighed out as being good? Does he just kill her?
I don't know. Just boots her off the edge. This is Sparta style.
It's a long fucking way down. That's for sure. So after that scene, it was a cool scene. I mean, I was interested, but it was
visually it was fantastic.
Yeah, visually, especially once when they get up top, there's this is really cool. But it was this is just a short film. It's like watching one of those Pixar short films before the start of the actual film at that point, I think. Because I'm like, that was fun. Now into the actual thing. And the actual thing has... does it start with... It starts with Shadow going out onto the roof, right? Yeah.
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 And he chases...
fire escape.
Yeah, so he's like, wakes up, or he's just laying there or whatever. And he goes out into the fire escape where he sees book person.
The third sister.
The third sister. That's what I would have said.
I
was hoping for the actual name. The sister we didn't meet last episode, who is nothing like the other sisters. She is young, very youngest. But at the same time, you can gather at this point, of course, the other sisters. And all of them have been around for thousands of years or whatever. So she could also be 1,000 years old, but she still looks like she's 18. So, because
not in the harsh sun, I suppose.
Yeah,
because her time's the night.
Yes, yeah. That scene
that'll work.
Very weird scene.
It captured the essence of the book. Great though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, can you try and explain what her power is compared to like the other ones? Because they all have different mind. What do you call it? Like
Fortune telling.
Fortune telling powers.
Yeah.
So we now know.
I don't think that's really a power of theirs. I think it's just something they do to make money. Where their mythology wise, their job is to watch the sky, like she said, to watch out for this thing in the stars, and when it comes down, the world will be over. Yeah. So they will take it in shifts. Her shift is nighttime.
And they don't really say what that thing is. No, Shadow.
It's just she said it's like Odin's wing and bear or some crap like that.
Yeah, the bear. It says it's like a bear or something like that. And he says, Shadow's like, do you really believe that? Or something. This episode's a lot about what Shadow believes and doesn't believe.
Yeah.
From the get-go. It's like what he will and won't not believe. It's also... So, she takes the moon? Just...
Yeah.
I'll have that.
Pretty much.
Well, just... Cool. Don't
just
understand,
like
but...
Sweeney, how she referenced the other coin saying it was the sun, where this is the moon as a coin.
Yep, it's stuff that happens. I mean, there's stuff that happens every episode that I'm like, I hope that come back to that in 5 episodes when I understand what's happening. I guess. Not
a chance.
Well, 5 seasons then. I don't know. He thinks up the whole. So he wants to. He thinks he solved the whole thing with Schernball. Spot on, Bevan. And he challenges him again. Goes into his room. Shadow actually kind of being a bit of a badass here because he's all very confident and he's just like more or less fucking with him. Like, I don't think you could kill me in one swing, even if you wanted to, And he's like sitting there. You notice his cigarettes, as an ex-smoker, I don't know what the fuck he's smoking, because every time he lights one, I swear half the cigarette just disappears in a thing of flame, of smoke.
Rice paper.
I'm like, a rice paper or some bullshit. I'm like, what the fuck? Just buy something better. It's like, it just doesn't look... They show it again
I like that in the context of the show because it gives Shadow back his agency, because in the book he's the one that proposes the bet as opposed to where the last episode Schernbog proposes the bet and he kind of gets talked into it to Wednesday, where this is showing he's got agency back and it's all his decision and what he's doing.
Yeah, it is now.
Yeah, it is now.
Yeah,
so it kind of gives it back to him.
So he plays him again at checkers. Still don't understand how to play checkers. And he...
Didn't do your homework.
Didn't do my homework from last week, no. And he beats him. But what's interesting about... Because, I mean, of course he has to beat him. As soon as he's like, I'm going to challenge him again, I'm like, okay, this is a kind of less boring way out of this than I thought.
On the record, Dylan was wrong about what was going to happen.
Hashtag Dylan was wrong. I just wanted something a bit more epic or something. Like, I don't know. It's fine.
I think if they did it like in the book, because in the book it happens again straight after, not like he goes to sleep and whatnot.
Oh, so he just challenges him again right there and then.
Yeah.
But does he make it for the same reason? He's like, you might miss. Like, you might not kill me in the same way.
Pretty much saying you're old and weak. Yeah, one blow won't kill me, or I can dodge out of the way or something like that.
Oh, he says like, so, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny how, but then, so he wins, but he's still like, the deal's still...
Yeah, he's still... Schernbog's going to go with him when it's all over. He's still going to get to swing the hammer at him.
Yep. And he'll dodge roll that shit, I suppose.
We'll see.
We'll see. I presume that's going to be towards the end of the season, right? Because they have to get all the way to...
Oh, the end... No, not to the end of season 3 or 4 at the rate they're going.
Oh, really? Okay. Because where are they trying to get? Where they are heading? Wisconsin? Where are they going?
Wisconsin.
Yeah,
there's a place there. It hasn't been named in the show yet.
No, but they've said that's where everyone's going. Like when we see Mad Sweeney again later in the episode, which we'll get to, it's like, see you in Wisconsin.
The American Gods Expo.
American Gods Expo. That's 100% right. So he, the other interesting thing about that checkers match is that Shadow points out that when he says, you're still playing the same game, which kind of plays on the whole, like, old gods don't learn new tricks kind of thing, I suppose.
That's
like,
it, yeah.
Yeah. It's like he didn't try anything new, and Shadow just beats him because he just did exactly the same thing he'd already done. Oh, yes. I wrote down a good quote. I completely missed. That was one of my favourite quotes from the episode, which was back up to the rooftop, which is when the sister kisses him and she says, "Kissing is disgusting, like a blue cheese or brandy," which is probably I don't know, just thought that was a good.
Yeah, I don't eat or drink either of them.
Yeah.
So I have no reference.
I was like, I've had blue cheese. It's disgusting. Nothing like kissing though.
No, not at all.
Not even close. Brandy is pretty shit though, so as well. So no, just thought it was interesting.
Yep, you're wrong.
So then Shadow wakes up next morning.
Yeah,
I like how Wednesday comes in. Like Wednesday, actually no. So Wednesday is trying to fuck the other sister.
Yeah,
or something. He's trying to fuck her, I guess.
The old sister.
The old sister. He's like, come out. And then they have this really cool shot of the rain all in like slow motion around him. And I still didn't really understand because she's like, what have you done?
Yeah.
He didn't really do anything, did he? As far as I've seen?
Not from what I can ascertain.
No. Because I'm just like, okay.
No.
He hasn't, I don't know what you've done, but she thinks he's done something, and
Yeah.
she reads his tea leaves and is like, he's very optimistic. I'll give him that.
Or if you notice, when he kisses her and she goes, "What have you done?" It goes up to the sister on the roof.
Yeah.
And all the clouds
Clouds
are
covering
over.
the
Yeah. Maybe it's a way like saying he's clouding the fortune or changing his fortune. Because remember when he reads it. Remember when she reads his tea leaves, it's saying he won't succeed, and he goes,
"Yeah, you'll lose.
That's just my fortune for today."
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's very optimistic. Like he's not like, it's only for today. And then when when they're down the street, she says they'll kill you this time, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, and he has that cool line that was from the original trailer for the show where he says, war's coming," or something like that.
Yeah.
But that all happens and everyone goes to sleep, and then the next morning Wednesday bursts into the room. He's like, "Good, you're awake." He's not like, "Oh, we're not getting ahead."
No.
Not getting ahead.
Shadow looks out the window and he notices that the fire escape's gone too.
Oh, yes. I didn't even notice that. You're right. I was wondering why for some reason I feel a bit silly now, because I was like, why is he so looking out the window? Fire escape. Right.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a different room or something like that.
And he puts his hand into his pocket and realises that it was real because he's got the coin.
Yeah. Yeah, I just thought he was in a different room. And I didn't know why he was getting so weirded out. I was like,
if you're going to do this show, pay attention, will you?
Sorry. Should have watched it twice. Just fucking in a row. Just go around like a maniac. Yeah, no. Then the other great quote from the line is where he's like, Wednesday goes, we're gonna rob a bank. Do you want some coffee?
Yeah.
And Shadow's just like,
like, what the fuck, man?
What the fuck? Because he's just like bursting. He's like, he just says it so we're gonna rob a bank.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's a weird thing to say.
And that's where we cut to
Mad Sweeney.
It was a Mad Sweeney first or the other one?
Mad Sweeney.
Okay. We'll go.
It's what I've wrote down, so
I'll trust you. You've taken notes.
Okay. Mad Sweeney back at the bar, passed out in somewhere, and that lady who was real nice to Shadow till he caused a fight, and he's just kind of sitting there, passed out, and then he says, she's like, "Get the fuck out!" Points the shotgun at him.
Holding a shotgun to his head.
Yeah, holding the shotgun, but he doesn't seem to care because luck's on his side, or is it? Because then he's like, your gun will misfire or you'll miss or something like that. And then she just shoots the bottle out of his hand and like half of it ends up in his face. He's like, fuck. Why?
That wasn't meant to happen.
No, that wasn't meant to happen at all. But then, so then he's going along the road, I don't know, walking to Wisconsin.
He's walking to Wisconsin.
He's just on walkie's way. This dude just like pulls up, like Ned Flanders pulls up more or less, and it's like, "Howdy, neighbor." Like, Jody, I just like how he's straight up asking. He's like, "Are you a rapist?
Yeah.
Are you a murderer?" Like,
not today.
No, yeah. Then we get into like a quick Final Destination type scene happens because.
Sorry, I don't want to miss this part where he gets in the car and he lays down and he goes, "Don't go try touching my knob."
Yeah, don't go touching my knob. And the guy's like, "Don't worry, friend, I'm not into that or whatever. You're not even my type."
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this guy's a bit of a weirdo or whatever. So then they take off in the car and there's a truck in front of them with a bunch of poles and like some Final Destination type shit. The pole bounces off, flies directly through the car and not through the head, doesn't kill him through the brain instantly. It's like through the middle of his fucking face to the point that he's like looking over like all fucked up or some shit. I'm like, Jesus
Sweeney's
Christ.
like, "Oh, fucking here we go."
No, Sweeney doesn't like even jump up fast or anything. He's not like, "Oh my God." He's just like laying down. He's like, "Oh, fuck." Like, he's just don't even care. I like how he's still
I have to say, Pablo Schreiber, fantastic as Sweeney.
As that guy. Yeah, I know, he's doing so funny. Yeah. But we'll get to my favourite line from He's in a bit, which I'm sure is your favourite too. But I just love how he, like the cops turn up and the paramedics and he hasn't like fucked off. He like, because they show the cops there first and I was expecting them to be like, "Oh, what happened here? Was this a murder or something crazy?" And he's just sitting there like, "Oh, this is fucking way, what the fuck?"
And the tow truck driver goes, "Oh, the worst luck."
The worst luck, yeah. And he's like, "For fuck's sake." So he starts digging through all these coins and realizes that his lucky coin is missing and that's the cause of all his bad fortune in the last 24 hours, I suppose. Although, he can't blame like losing the fight against Shadow on the coin thing because he still had it at that point, right? No, so he just lost. He just did he? He didn't have it then?
No, he had it before that. He gave it away before that.
Ah, so he lost the fight as well because of bad luck, I suppose. That's what he'd say, I guess. So then after this scene, we cut to what is the guy's name? It's like
Salim.
Salim. Right, I was about to say something else, but Salim, and he is a guy we haven't met, and he is. I thought this. I see when the scene started. I thought this guy was going to turn out to be a god or some kind of supernatural being or something like that. Because it's just this guy, and you follow him along the street, and he walks into some office, and he sits down, and he ends up sitting in this office for what seems like 9 till 5, like does an entire day, just sitting there waiting, and is really nice, and somehow doesn't spit it. Because I kept waiting for him to spit it. I'm like, oh, is this going to be like the war or something? You know, like something like a real angry god or something like that. But just a guy trying to be nice, trying to sell shitty wares, as we find out soon.
Trinkets
and stuff. Yeah. But he leaves, and he's like, I felt like I would have, because any time I watch something like this, I'm like, I would have fucking spat it. This guy, the receptionist or whatever's like, when he's like, "Oh, I want to make an appointment. Can I make an appointment to see the guy tomorrow to sell my shitty wares?" She's like, "We only take appointments by phone call." You're right. Okay, I'll have a great day.
Where's he go? She goes, "Why are you smiling?" And he goes, "A businessman is naked without a smile in America,"
smile
or something.
Yeah, and he just like leaves. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's a lot nicer than I would have been, that's for sure. So he goes out, gets a taxi eventually, after having 10 or so just drive past him and not get in. And then he gets into a taxi with... He doesn't actually have a name, does he? Like, he never gets a name. You just find out...
In the book, he goes by a name, but in this is just the...
It's just Jinn. It's like the Jinn.
Yeah, the Jinn. Yeah.
It's just Jinn. So he gets in, and it's the guy that we've seen briefly before, when Shadow gets out of the TV place from the last episode, and he walks back into the restaurant, and the guy's like walking out, and he has the big fiery eyes, And I asked you the other week if this guy would be important or not, and you're like, oh, it's just a minor character. This whole scene between Jinn and Salim is like half the episode, it felt like, more or less. Or like a good chunk of it.
In the book, it's just a vignette, like the Somewhere in America. He doesn't actually play a part in anything.
So, which makes me wonder, because this isn't like this isn't the opening of the show, like a Somewhere in America type thing.
It is. It does.
It says Somewhere in America.
Yeah.
As they're going to the scene, but yeah. Does that mean they won't come back to it? I suppose.
I've read interviews with Fuller saying that we haven't seen the last of them, so.
Yeah, because I saw that and I was like, oh, this is odd. So are they going to start like inserting the vignette type stuff in the middle of episodes as well now?
That, or like, because we're already seeing more of Sweeney and Billiquist than we ever did in the book too, so they're obviously expanding on storylines.
Quick side note, no Billiquist this fucking episode. How disappointing. No,
thank God.
no floating space dick, but we got Dick, which we'll get to in a sec. So they have this whole... So he falls asleep randomly, which I found really weird. Like, they're in the taxi, they're talking or whatever.
He said he'd been driving the taxi for 30
hours. Yeah.
And they were in a traffic jam and he just fell asleep.
So he just falls asleep. Because I was like, did something happen? Or this guy's just literally like, yeah, I'm pretty tired, eh? Which, I mean...
Qualities you want in a taxi driver.
Even if I was pretty tired, I don't think I could just be like, hey, I'm pretty tired. Because that's fast. That is a very fast way to fall asleep.
My wife would say that I do that.
Oh, well, there you go. I mean, I'd fucking believe it, knowing you, so... Just saying. So they have this... So when he falls asleep, he's like... He taps him or whatever, doesn't he? Like, to try and... No,
yeah,
so his glasses come forward first as he kind of nods off.
Yeah.
And then you can see that he has the burning eyes that we saw in the previous episode.
You don't see it until he taps him on the shoulder and he opens
his eyes. Oh, they light up when he opens his eyes.
Yeah.
Yep. And the guy doesn't freak the fuck out because it's actually a story that he knows. Like, he's not...
Yeah.
He's not like, oh, this is...
Say my grandmother once saw a Jinn on the edge of the desert, and I passed it off as a sandstorm, and he had fiery eyes just like you did.
Which I found weird because they could have it like, I suppose if it was like some random white character or something, like someone who's not the same religion or like something like that, it would just be like, whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But this guy's like, oh, I understand you're actually.
Yeah.
But then it also means like that guy believes, I suppose, is like, he would have to be religious to be like not freaked out. He's just like, yeah, okay, this makes kind of sense. But then it gets weirder because there's so many weird questions. It's like, because so they have a moment where they touch hands and it's like, okay, so they're kind of into each other here. But then it's more interesting from like the religion standpoint. They would be completely against.
See, Jinn aren't part of Islam. They're something different. Like before that.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's lots of stuff happening in this show that makes me want to like read up more on like stuff I don't know.
A lot of it too is Gaiman created his own mythology. Like he took bits and pieces and kind of melded it to fit his own story, which is kind of all good too, because there's all these people coming to America and they're not following the traditional stories, and the gods transform to change to what they imagine them to be.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's lots happening, but it's all like it's all based in reality anyway. Like especially when you get to he gets out of the taxi, some other stupid chick jumps in. She's like, "Get me 2 seconds," and I'm like, "Fuck off!" It's one typical because they're in New York, right? At this point, yeah. So it's like a typical, what I would imagine a stereotypical New Yorker is. Oh, fucking calm down, mate. But then Salim's like, "Hey, I'm up in here." Fucking good pickup line. Just, hey, I'm up in this number. It's like, didn't even try, really. He's just, hey, I know you're a powerful being or something, like, grant wishes. Although he says I can't grant wishes because he tells the whole story about having to clean shit off which I also found funny because he's like, I can clean shit off the back seat, and he's just like,
and he's like, oh.
yeah, nah. So, but then he's just like, it's so weird. It makes me wonder, like, what his like preconceived thoughts of what a Jinn is, because he's not like, oh, I can't try and fuck this. He's just like, I can try and fuck this. Sure.
I don't think that's... I think they had an emotional connection too, because...
Oh, they did. It wasn't like... It wasn't like a physical...
It was like...
Yeah.
He'd been in America for however many years, just resorted
because they mentioned
to
that
being
city
a
as well.
guy.
They mentioned that city. He's like, oh, it's from this city. And then he's like,
oh,
yeah, they uncovered that like a couple of years ago.
Yeah, a decade ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, was you on the expedition team? And the Jinn's like... Something like
that. Yeah, this was a Raven City back in the day.
Yeah.
It went extinct, 1,000 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's why they have the whole moment where he touches his hand and they have like a whole...
Yeah.
It's not like...
And his brother-in-law had sent the Salim to America to sell all this shit, and he hates it, and his family hates him and all crap like that.
So then they go upstairs and they just basically have the most full-on gay sex scene I think has ever been filmed for
That's
anything.
gayer than gay porn. I
mean, I haven't watched gay porn, but but I mean, it was I think second. And it's not like talking about it just for the sake of you talking about it, because I do think that doing this is a big risk, because I can guarantee that the executives of the networks and stuff, like, they would have to be okay with this, and the majority of executives would not be okay with this, because you know for damn well sure that this is the type of shit that gets people on Twitter, like, why is this fucking gay shit on my fucking television, and blah, 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 blah. So I think them signing off on something it's not out there, just like something that you don't usually see on TV.
Out of the norm.
Because we see lots of hardcore sex scenes, sure. Game of Thrones has fucking sex scenes coming out of the woodworks, but gay sex scenes, no. Game of Thrones has had like one gay sex scene, I think, but it was kind of like, it wasn't even close to this level.
And it's into deity too.
And it's, which is, but this is what I'm saying, like, I love the scene because it was like, it wasn't just like a Game of Thrones sex scene where it's just like, it's a sex scene. Like, it was like representing so much more on a emotional, spiritual level. Yeah, it wasn't just like, it's just a gay sex scene for a gay sex scene or something like that. Like, they're just fucking. It was like a whole emotional thing like that. But at the same time, they didn't play it down or anything like that. And they hold shots. Apparently, and everything. So
Brian Fuller demanded reshoots because it wasn't gay enough.
Apparently, it's like that in the book, isn't it? Like, I was reading before that.
Yeah, like, it's captures the essence of the scene perfectly from the book.
And I mean, it would be weird if they was like, oh no, it's perfectly okay for us to have the full-on Bilquis sex scene and then have her shove a dude up her fucking fag, but then we couldn't have the gay sex scene.
No, we can say cunt. It's in the show.
Yeah. It will be in a minute. But it would be weird, because if they didn't do this, and then it would be like, oh, you purposely held back on this scene. Yeah. But you was okay with doing the other scene, at which point it is like, well, why did you hold back on this scene? Did you hold back on this scene because you're afraid of what people will say and stuff like that? Or why aren't you afraid of what people will say about the giant cunt-eating monster? Like, because it is also that thing, like, in the... like in home country, it's like shit like that you'd get killed for, like Islam. So, like, so there's a whole. It's more that's what I'm saying. Like, it's more than just it's like the spiritual element, like the whole fucking a god type thing and having a god inside you, like, literally, and then like the whole like thing, like this is two guys on TV, gay dudes, fucking in a time when not only is gay sex scenes like something you won't see, but like between them, they would get killed in their home country. So I applauded. I applauded. I thought it was really,
I
really
don't think
good.
there's one bad thing about the scene, to be
No,
honest.
I think it was really, really great. And it's probably, I don't know, maybe it's the type of shit that you hope that other, well, I'd hope that other people see, and they're like, it's okay. Like, you don't
Sure,
need to...
you remember the graphicness of it, but you can also feel the emotion coming from it as well.
Yeah, I don't know what, and I mean, if you can have the full-on Bilquist stuff, there's no reason not to have this.
No, that's right.
And because none of those scenes, even the Bilquist stuff, is like, I mean, it's all for a reason. It's not just...
that's right.
It's
not there for the sake of being there.
No, it all has like deeper stuff to it. Yeah, but that's because it's her character also, like because she's the god, or whatever you want to call it, like the, I don't know, sex god or something, I suppose. Something. Like, that's part of her character, so it makes sense anyway. And, I don't know. So, it was great. So then, they wake up next morning, after somehow fucking up to the desert on their spiritual plane, which I was like, whatever, I don't know what's going on anymore, but sure. It's like, okay. They turn to stone. Thing. He wakes up next morning.
Weird.
No, I mean, because the Jinn, like, his skin melts off. They're stone. Now they're up in the same desert landscape that we see from the start of the episode, or it just looks similar. Like, is it the same?
It's just similar. Yeah,
just looking similar. And then he wakes up next morning. The Jinn's gone. Just see you, pal. And his clothes are there, and he looks at his ID, and it's not actually the Jinn. It's someone else. Like,
some other dude, yeah.
Some other dude. And so instead of... But the Salim wakes up happy as all fuck. He's like, I not only did I get laid last night, but by a fiery god whose eyes got burnier and burnier as he was getting closer to coming. So that's 10 out of 10 for a night for me personally. Better than sitting in that office hole again. And he's like, oh, fuck it, I'll just put on this dude's jumper and go do cabs, I guess. Yeah. It's weird, though, because... And then he has that whole moment where he looks in the mirror and he's like, I do not grant wishes or whatever. It's like...
Yeah, I was about to say that. Like, he says he doesn't... He said over and over again he doesn't grant wishes, but no,
he says to him he grants wishes. He has that line when he first, like, whips out his huge ding-dong. He's like, I don't grant wishes, but you do. Is what he says to Salim. Yeah, he's like, I don't grant wishes, but you do. Yeah. So
in a way, he kind of granted these wishes, like he got him out of the life he hated into America, like giving the American dream and stuff.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like, the whole scene's...
Side note: that suit that Salim was wearing is the same suit the Ifrit was wearing last episode.
Really?
In the diner. Yeah.
How did you read that online or something? Official source?
It's the same. I went back and had a look.
Okay. So yeah, he got a cab job by fucking. By fucking, which is the moral of the story, I guess. Yeah. Get a cab job. Just fuck a guy. Get a cab job. Welcome to America. Great, everyone. So we finally get back to Shadow and everyone who are planning their heist, I guess. And it's Wednesday never really explains everything that's going to happen. He's like, we're just going to go to this bank, we're going to stick it out, I'm going to go over here. And the whole time Shadow's like, I don't want to end up back in prison. You're a fucking crazy person. I can't wait until we get to a stage where Shadow stops like arguing with Wednesday, because it's like we're up to episode 3 now. It's always just like, you're a crazy person. You're a crazy person. You're crazy. Everything you do is wrong. And they go, so he gets a costume. He's like, all this sort of thing. And he's like, you need to make it snow.
This is the bank I'll be robbing, so let's go say hello. Are you out of your goddamn mind? Have a little faith, son. Hell no. Well, how about faith in a higher power wanting me to succeed? Fuck no. Oh, fuck yes.
Before that, like, they went into the bank and they were getting all the stuff, and he's like, oh, fuck, what's going on, all these cameras and stuff.
Oh, yeah, it covers his face too, like he's walking, he's like, how would you do? And then they show it from the camera's
not looking
angle,
suspicious at all.
Yeah, but Shadow's just like, whatever, and Wednesday's just like, don't look at me, please, thank you. So then they have there's a weird scene where, so when he makes it snow, or he's trying to make it snow. He's like sitting there with eyes closed. Shadow is. He doesn't really know why he needs to make it snow either. Wednesday's just like,
No,
my plan.
he goes, we just need annoying snow.
We need, yeah. So
we need you to make it snow. Think about it.
Yeah, think about it. Just picture he says something like picture the crust or in the sky or something, blah blah blah, dark skies and all this sort of thing. So he sits there, Shadow sits there and closes his eyes, and we see what I assume is what he's picturing, which is like ice forming across something like that. And then Wednesday like taps him on the shoulder and he's like, they'll be right, we don't want to cause too much of a storm here. And Shadow's like, what? And then they show like the camera outside, it's actually legitimately started to snow. And then of course, because Shadow, he's like, it wasn't forecast to snow. What's going on? Like,
it wasn't even meant to be cold.
It wasn't even meant to be. Like, sat there for a minute, like, I'm gonna make it snow. I still don't understand like his rationale, because if he was trying, and he was legit trying, because he's sitting there really concentrating, like, make it fucking snow, and then it does snow. He's not like, holy fuck, I'm a genius or a god. He's like, no, that's just a coincidence. It wasn't actually meant to be bad weather today. Like, this is wrong. I'll tell you what though. So they get to, the plan is put into action. It's a lot less elaborate than I thought it was going to be. Because when they started the episode where he's like, we need to rob a bank, we're going to do a heist, I was like, oh my god, what is this going to be? Like, the most elaborate, like, are they actually going to like break in? Like, what are they going to do? No. Pretty cool actually, and I'm like, why doesn't anyone actually do this in real life? Maybe because in my mind I'm like, you can get away with this, surely. Like, it looks pretty legit. So they gather all the pieces, which include Wednesday with the biggest fucking earmuffs I've ever seen on a person. Apparently, they're huge fucking things. Side note, gather all the pieces. His plan is as such: he has a security guard suit. He has fake names. You have a fake name, Shadow. You work for the security company. You're the boss of me. I'm going to go over there in the security guard uniform. I'm going to put signs up on the deposit boxes and the ATM. And I'm just going to sit there. And when people try to put money in, I'm just going to take it, say, sign this. I've got your money. Yep. And you never hear what Wednesday's saying to him, but because we know what he's like, especially from the first episode when he cons the airport, you can only imagine what he's over there like. Oh, you couldn't.
In the book, he's described as like putting on like a persona, like a big, cheery, old, fat security guard. I
completely imagine. Yeah, you can imagine it because you know he's good at it by this stage. So, but it's funny because Shadow kind of just does what the rest of us must be thinking, which is when he like looks over and he finally gets the money, Shadow's just like kind of smirks to himself and is like, I can't believe this shit. Like,
I'm going to jail.
Yeah, he's like, fucking god. He's like, thinks it's going all right, and then the cops turn up and he's like, fuck.
Yeah.
But then, of course, he realizes what his part is, because Wednesday gives the cops the card. On the card is the number for the telephone he's been standing in front of. It rings, and Shadow, for all his bitching and fucking complaining all episode about stuff and not really wanting to be part of it or anything, commits to it. In fact, he goes further than what he would need to. Like, he gets to a stage where he's like, yes, I'm from so-and-so security, this guy's actually with me. And you could kind of leave it at that stage. Is there anything else I could help you with, officer? No, hang up. He's like, an officer, do you need a job? Like, he goes beyond.
Do you need extra money? Come work for me.
Yeah, he goes beyond. He kind of gets into it there for a second, I think. Which to me, I'm like, is this kind of playing on more of his past? Like, this is the kind of shit that he's done previously and stuff like that, or is he just like just natural at it, I guess, or something like that? So I don't know. So they get a bunch of money, easy fucking money apparently. Americans dumb as shit. They're just like, yeah, there's signs. It's got to cost you.
This seems legit.
Have my $1,000. It's fine. Like, here, have that. Wouldn't see me do that ever. No. I still find the idea of like, because we don't have those, do we? Do we have?
No, we don't.
No, I don't.
Not deposit.
Not deposit boxes. Yeah, the whole idea of that is, to me, is weird, because so people put a lot of money in little bags or something, and they just walk up and they're just like, here. So they walk down the street with all this money, and no one, and then they're like, why did someone rob me? when I was carrying a giant bag with the bank's name on it, which presumably has my savings in it, to drop into a random box on the outside of the bank. America. You know, I know you only just got PayPass on your fucking credit cards. But
yeah, that's strange.
just add to the list of weird things. Okay, so they... Oh, fuck. I missed the I just realized where... I missed Sweeney. I just realised. So I have to backtrack a little bit. Before all the heist in quotes, I suppose. Before all this happens, they're having the dinner or whatever, discussing it and whatever. And in bursts Sweeney, who somehow knows where they are. I'm like, there's 1,000,001 places they could be in New York City or stuff like that. And or maybe he just knows where Wednesday would pick to eat, I suppose, which would...
Yeah.
That would kind of make sense, I suppose. But he just bursts in. That cunt's got my coin. And then he turns to him, give me back my coin, cunt. Which made me laugh, because especially the way he says it. Like, I was like, oh my God. But he doesn't actually have his coin. Who's got the coin?
Nah.
All the way back at episode 1, he fucking flicked it on top of his wife's grave before it was buried. So now Sweeney's like, oh, for fuck's sake, I was on my way to Wisconsin to the American Gods Convention, and I got some guy killed on my way here, and now I've got to fucking get back over there, and I've got to go all the way back over where I just came from. Fuck! But he's real good for this coin. I like how, although when Shadow asks him, he's like, I'll give you back your coin if you tell me how you can do the trick. And he's just like...
he plucked it out of thin air.
Yeah, and Sweeney's just like, I just plucked it out of thin air, or whatever. He's like...
Yeah, now where's my coin?
Yeah.
I love the line he goes, I'll just add to the long list of guys that have mounted your dead wife or something like that.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh no, not enough bar fight incoming. But Shadow manages just to calm the fuck down for a second here. And then Wednesday chases him outside because he's like, all right, meet you back outside. Just got to make sure this fucker doesn't steal my car. I love how he just says it like that's like he wouldn't be angry if it happened. It's not like, oh, I'll be so pissed if he steals my car. He's just like, it's a thing that could happen, like, and I better stop it. Like, we need that car, kind of. So, then the bank robbery happens, which I do cover. But I was like, fuck, that made me laugh when he walked in. He's like, that cunt's got my coin. So you gave it to him, you dickhead.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like, if you have 1,000 coins, you'd still think you'd know which one is your lucky coin and not give away the lucky one.
I think he was kind of drunk at that point.
True. I just presume he's drunk all the time, so there's that. So then they're driving to... Did they say where they're going next? They're just like on the way to Wisconsin. However they get there.
Yeah, I think they're on the way.
Just slowly, we're just going to get there eventually. And stop for episodes 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 along the way, I suppose. Then they have this whole discussion about did he make it snow, and Wednesday's like, if you want to believe it, and all this. That's what I'm saying. Like, the whole episode was like more or less about what Shadow believes.
Shadow come to terms, and
Shadow comes to terms, yeah. But then even I don't understand. Like, I'm like, did he actually make it snow? Because there's that part where he says it just feels like rain. Okay, you weirdo. Is it rain? Is he just... And then Wednesday says that whole thing about dreaming while awake and something like that.
Yeah, like he goes... something about dreaming. He goes, this feels like a dream. It doesn't feel real or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, interesting. Then he nearly hits a wolf, which I'm like, that's supposed to represent something, but I can't fucking...
Random. Yeah.
I know, like, it has to be something, because of course Wednesday's like...
Yeah.
It's not going to say anything, but I'm going to give it that look like, hey, I know what that is, or that person, or whatever the fuck. Which he does nearly every episode, like something or someone will be around or something. He never says anything. He's just like, hey. Then we cut back to Sweeney, who's made his way back to the grave. Finally, digs it up, digs up all the dirt, gets to the actual grave. There's a hole in the top of the casket where
a coin-sized hole.
A coin-sized hole where... So I usually do this This is a coin this time though. A coin hole has been burned through the thing, and he opens it up, and there's no body inside. And of course, he's not like, that's odd. He's like, where the fuck is my coin? I'm sure.
Yeah.
Cut back to Shadow entering his hotel room. Who's waiting in his hotel room? His dead wife, of course. Who, I'm like, that must be one fucking lucky coin if you can magically bring people back to life, I guess. I don't understand how that works. But once again, episode ends with me going, don't know what'll happen next episode.
No.
Don't know. Which I find so weird for TV shows, because usually cliffhangers, you're like, oh, but I'm just like, there's a lucky coin. Burned her alive somehow. I fucking don't know. I guess I'll just wait till next episode.
Wait till next week, yeah. Find out what happened.
Do you have any last tangents or things for the episode?
I just want to say it's the best episode yet, and
I think
the guy that so far has said the book has been better, this has captured the feeling of the book to a
perfect.
T.
This one. Any like specific scenes that were really just stood out? Like,
Salim was pretty much word for word, if you could say that. They're adding more Sweeney to it. Like, if they keep on going the way they're going, I think it adds a lot more to than what the book had. Because in the book, he's only in 2 scenes, and you're not quite sure how he gets from one to the other, where this kind of is spanning out the middle ground of it.
So the whole part... The whole part where the pole goes through the dude wasn't in the book then?
No, that's completely made up.
Yeah.
And I like that there's no Billiquis either.
In this episode.
Yeah, no, just so far, she hasn't captured what I feel like she was meant to represent in the book, because in the book, she was meant to represent, like, how far the gods and how low they'll go just to get their worship. Whereas this, she's like on a... I've got to get back my power kind of fucking storyline. See how that goes.
See how it goes. It's so funny though, because each episode I'm like, okay, so that's episode 3. Next episode's episode 4, which is halfway. And I still feel like that we're still just like getting introduced to lots of themes and stuff. Like, it still feels like it's barely getting going. Yeah. Like, not much is going.
I think it'll pick up from here.
From next episode.
Yeah.
It's not like it's been boring. Like, it's not like...
No.
No, it's not like I'm like, oh, it needs to pick up, like, be more action-oriented. No, I'm fine with it. I think this is the best episode so far as well. Like, bounds above the previous 2. And the previous 2 were... I'd probably go this one, episode 1, then episode 2.
Yeah, on the same.
Is my ranking so far.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Hope this was entertaining and you learnt lots of things about viewing, about how to watch American Gods, a show that's on Amazon.
Yeah.
If you're in Australia. Stars, I was about to say, what is that? I don't even actually know. So good job, Stars, for putting that big old gay sex thing. What was he called? Jinn. Gay Jinn sex thing. This show really is about ding dong. If Game of Thrones more or less claimed like the tits aspect, American Gods is like, we want to be the show known for dick, and they're going for it, and I'm proud he is. Good job, Brian Fuller and everyone else involved.
5 dicks in 2 episodes.
Yeah, that's fine by me. 10 out of 10. Don't leave a comment below about how much you enjoyed the thing. Have a wonderful afternoon, morning, night.
Bye. Whenever you watch this.